Being racist, being homophobic, being transphobic are all signs of unintelligence.
I literally just made a post saying that we should treat racist people like they're slow because it's not an intelligent take. It's just not. That being said, someone in the comment section says that pattern recognition is also a sign of intelligence. You see where they're going, right? And I recently made a video that said that maybe these people aren't racist, they're recognizing patterns. Remember that? When are you guys going to understand that two things can be true at one time? I keep telling you that. That's one of my favorite sayings because people only like black or white or left or right. They don't like to admit that multiple things can be true at one time. Or should I better say that just because someone is recognizing patterns doesn't mean that they're racist. And just because somebody is racist doesn't mean that they can recognize patterns. Racist people are doing what she's saying in this video. They're coming to conclusions because of, stereotypes and other things that they learned in this world to make them believe the things that they think, right? But pattern recognition doesn't necessarily mean that you are racist, okay? And especially if you're on the spectrum and you pair that to somebody who is just very blunt and says everything that they think. Not saying that everybody on the spectrum does that, but that is a trait, that being blunt thing. I'm a Sagittarius as well, and I'm just blunt. But we do that, right? And then people will say, oh, you're just trying to be racist. It's like, no, I've recognized the pattern, right? Why is it okay to, if you look in the comment section up underneath that comment, you're going to see a whole bunch of people gaslighting. And it's also pattern recognition to see what white people do when they list some white stuff. Are you not racist then? If you can return the same energy and say the same thing somebody else is saying about their own race, then that means it's a valid pattern recognition is a valid argument. No, it's a valid thing, and you can't necessarily tell if somebody is racist or not, especially based on one comment, based on them saying you guys tend to do this or this group tends to do this. That means that if anyone says, oh, I see a similarity in this and this, then they're racist. That doesn't mean you're racist. That means that you guys do not want to hear the feedback from other people. And I told you the solution to that is if you don't want people to say these things about you, don't do it. And here's the thing. People are still going to lie on you if you change your complete behavior. I know. I've done this my whole life. People will say, well, you do this, and I would say, oh, I'm going to live my life to where people don't lie on me. And then they still lie on me. What can you do about it? I think that the difference between doing something and then people witnessing it and saying it, and then you going, I didn't do that, and then you not doing something and then people saying it, the response is different. And my response usually when somebody's just blatantly lying on me is they're laughable. It gets frustrating when people gaslight me, but to lie and say I did something that I didn't, I'm not going to say I just completely brush it off. First I get confused, but then I go, that's crazy. Because I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't get super irate because it's not true. You guys are mad because what? It's valid. There's some truth to it. And that's just the point. Additionally, you have to acknowledge the things that people are saying that they recognize. This is the whole point of me even bringing this conversation up, is because I don't think people realize that you're aiding in the continuation of the discord between you and someone else. When you never acknowledge it, you just respond with something that you see. It's not to say that we can't ever talk about what you see, but when somebody takes their time out to make a point, acknowledge it. I see this online. I have a video up there in my pinned videos where I'm talking about a lot of women calling themselves socially unattractive, and then women coming in the comment section saying, girl, you're so pretty. Stop. Just stop. You're one of the ones who's probably guilty of bullying the people that you're talking about, that you're saying now that they're so pretty because we're online and you're behind your phone. There's a lot of treatment that people receive, and it's not just bullying head on. If you start a job and they say break up into groups, it's what groups you gravitate towards or whatever. Ugly people live an ugly ass fucking existence, and it's all in the nuance that it's hard to explain. And then when they try to explain it and you just say, I don't know what you're talking about, girl, you need to get some self-esteem, girl. You need to, shame on you. When white people tell you what they see, or when they say, well, I just made a post about this, and somebody said, well, it's typical for people with their skin tone. And then somebody said, well, it's typical for people with your skin tone to do school shootings. Both of y'all do stupid shit. We understand that. But someone said it first. And in order for us to get through the conversation, you have to be able to have the conversation. Now, that person in the comment section could have been racist, but we don't know that based off of one statement. Everything's worthy of a conversation, and a lot of you are not capable of that. Do you know how many times I've been ghosted? Do you know how many times a conversation could have helped something, but you guys are so fragile, you just block somebody? I block people after they've shown me that they're not going to change their stance, or no, let me not say that. It's not that I want them to change their stance. It's what I want them to acknowledge the time that I took to say something. I was just going through this on YouTube, and I became very insulting, which I can admit, because they were being willfully ignorant and gaslighting me. Didn't even watch the full video. Were sitting there talking about things that didn't matter. And then every time I said something, it was like, well, you're unintelligent, and you're not allowed to have a fucking conversation with me. Honestly, I'm getting pissed off thinking about it right now. But if you care about resolve, and then that is going to show if you actually care, or if you're just a fucking agent of chaos online trying to stir shit up and argue and walk away, which I do think a lot of you are. I think a lot of you are addicted to drama, not resolve. But it's going to show if you actually want resolve, or if you actually just want to push people's buttons and be argumentative. And you feel what I'm saying? Once I see somebody just wants to be argumentative, I'm like, oh, they're racist, they're unintelligent, because that's an unintelligent thing to want to do, is to be argumentative. People with intelligence want resolve. They want to get from a beginning to an end. We're going to be able to separate the people who want to do that from people who actually want to fix stuff. And the reason that I make videos and talk about things like this is because I want you guys to get intelligent enough to see the difference. So we don't waste our time, because time is the most precious thing. We don't waste our time sitting there going back and forth online just to insult people and go down to their level. No, we're trying to create solutions. No?